after a lopsided loss on Saturday and then the weather conditions being so unfavorable, is this where you really measure the mettle of your team to come back and practice hard leading up to Saturday?
You know what, we expect that every regardless of the situation. If we'd have won the same way, we would expect them to come out and compete like they did today, and came down to the very last play today, and it matters to them. So I know we got a chance based off of the attitudes of the players.
What do the last 2 days look like then for you?
Well, I mean, again, they've been very good. I mean, the preparation's been really strong. It's been actually better than last week. But the guys we're still figuring each other out too. I mean, it's the first time we've all been together.
The guys were saying last week that it's the number of reps that they've been getting that they think has helped speed them through the process. Is that what you've been trying to do here?
Well, we had a ton of reps in camp, that's for sure. And there's a fine line between working them too much, so we've got to be real careful to make sure that we do enough work and prepare, but at the same time we want them fresh on game day.
Good to see the Feast line back out practicing, Chris. I know injuries are never an excuse, but boy, to get a couple big ones in that secondary makes a difference.
Yeah, it certainly didn't help. I mean, those are two good players that weren't there last week, and but as a professional football team and personnel department, we've got to make sure that we've got people to go in and replace them. So you're right, it's no excuse.
Those guys who are kind of carryovers from last year, do they have a little bit of a leg up at all, like the Aaron Grimeses?
Well, I think anybody that's played. I think the speed of the game and when you're a rookie and it's your first real game, first time those lights are on, you're a little bit tight, and that's what I saw a little bit of that this past weekend, and they're going to get better, and we've got to continue to work with them and coach them. That's what we get paid to do, is coach them.
Is there a familiarity with some of those returning guys, even though new coaching staff and obviously different philosophies, things like that? Is there just a comfort level from those guys who've been around?
Well, like I say, you're able to communicate with them a little bit. They know the personnel in the league. They know the pace of the game. It's just it's a totally different animal, from the U.S. game. I mean, these guys come up from the States, and I've seen it 100 times. Well, Coach, I played here, I played there, I played in the NFL, and the CFL tempo is a lot different from anything else.
Did we see a little bit of that eye-opening scenarios?
Oh yeah. I mean, again, like I said, you could tell the guys that were rookies and the guys that weren't.
I guess you only can fix that with experience, right?
Yeah. Well, and that's a good thing. They've gone through it now and had to play a whole game, and it's a whole lot different than just playing a quarter or a half of a preseason game.
What's the biggest lesson you think the team learned?
At that speed of the game of where it is and the acuteness of what you have to play professional football. There is no room for error, and that one play can mean the difference in the ball game. You sit there and you make mistakes at practice, but then when all of a sudden, it's a real game and you make a mistake, and it's any one mistake will be the difference in the game.
So we won't see as many mistakes next time?
Well, I mean, that's up to you, I mean, it's pro football. They get paid too. So as far as ever being without error, I think maybe only you do that.
Chris, you brought in a brother to your top draft pick this year. You got a couple of them.
Yeah, he's a good player, good athlete. We had some familiarity with him because of his brother, and once he got released, he told me that his brother was available, and so we put him on the board. And then, of course, we had two Canadian special teams guys get hurt this past weekend, so we needed an able-bodied guy, and so we called him to see what he was about.
Anything to those blood ties? I mean, they play a little.
Well, we know what a good guy the guy we drafted is, and his brother seems to be very much the same. They were raised in Montreal and raised up tough, and that's kind of what we're wanting, some tough individuals.
Kind of like a 2-for-1 for your scouting.
That's right, yeah.
You talked about losing a couple of guys. Apollon, man, that's a tough way to start your career.
Yeah, you know what? And he had such a good preseason. He exceeded expectations. He was a lot bigger, moved a lot better, and all of a sudden the switch was coming on for him, and we had some really good thoughts for what he could be, and the good thing is his surgery went successful, and he's able to come back, and hopefully he'll be able to pick right up where he left off.
Gavin Cobb too. It's almost like a cursed draft class.
Yeah, it's we lost 2 of them for the year essentially, and so again, but that's part of pro football.
Thanks, Chris.
All right.
Thanks, Chris.
Later.